Namaskaram. I hope everybody can see me and hear me. I have been requested to speak about Abhang and I'm happy to speak about it. So, hopefully, you can hear me. Hopefully, you can hear my voice. I will speak for the next 10 to 15 minutes. I will give you my own experience and my own take on what I understand by Abhang. And hopefully, you will enjoy this 10-15 minute chat with you. All right, so I grew up in a middle class family in Nagpur, Maharashtra, in a Marathi speaking family, in which there is a very old, strong, and beautiful tradition of Abhang. The word Abhanga means in Sanskrit and in Marathi, same thing. Bhanga means to break, and Abhanga means something that will not break. So, the saints in Maharashtra, starting from the time of Sant Jnaneshwar, these people were devotees of Vithala. Vithala is the incarnation of Vishnu or incarnation of Tirupati Balaji, they say. That incarnation appeared in a place called Pandharpur, where there is a huge yatra or there is a huge pilgrimage that starts today on Ekadashi day. People start walking towards Pandharpur from several days earlier and they go reach Pandharpur on this day, and there is a huge celebration of everybody getting together, all the devotees of Lord Vithala. While walking from their native place to Pandharpur, they keep chanting all these abhangs. Abhangs are the devotional songs set in a certain meter, arranged in a certain meter, so that they can be sung easily or they can be sung to various tunes based on various classical ragas, and people can enjoy the experience of walking towards Pandharpur. Pandharpur is the place where Lord Vitthala's huge temple is there, and people will go there chanting these abhangas, ultimately reach there on the Ashadhi Ekadashi day, which is today. Now, this year, this particular celebration could not take place because of the current pandemic situation, which is okay, but the devotees are still in that same mood and they are wanting to celebrate this entire event, for which Srimati Shobha Vishwanathan, my very close friend's wife, my close friend Dr. Ramesh Vishwanathan, his wife Shobha, Shobha has requested me that I should get this whole event started, and I'm pleased to do so. I've also shared a bit of my experience regarding this Abhang. See, I grew up in Nagpur, where Pandit Bhimsen Joshi, Bharat Ratna Pandit Bhimsen Joshi, used to come often. He, in fact, lived in Nagpur for a few years, and during that time, he became very good friends with my family, my aunt's husband, my Mausi's husband. They became good friends. My Mausi's husband used to be the organizer of various classical music concerts in Nagpur. We became very close friends. My grandfather, my mother's father, was also a good friend of Bhimsenji. So I grew up knowing Bhimsenji as a close friend, close family friend. One of his programs was held in 1972, the year in which he got Padma Shri from the government of India. He turned 50 that year, and he started doing what he used to call the Santavani. Santavani is basically a whole collection of abhangas of various different saints. He would perform them based on purely Hindustani classical music for almost 3 to 4 hours. Used to be a full concert, right? So that concert I remember very vividly in my mind because my Mausi's husband at that time was trying to raise money for building a temple for Sai Baba, Shirdi Sai Baba in Nagpur. For that, Bhimsenji had agreed to come and he gave an outstanding Santavani program. And the chief guest happened to be Dilip Kumar, who is a Muslim. And he gave a phenomenal speech about Shirdi Sai Baba, in which I still remember he said that, people fight about who Shirdi Sai Baba belongs to, whether he belongs to Hindus or whether he belongs to Muslims. Dilip Kumar said, I prefer not to get involved in such feuds and such arguments. I say that I belong to Shirdi Sai Baba. शिरडी साई बाबा किसके हैं, ये झगड़े में ना पड़ते हुए मैं ये कहूँगा कि हम शिरडी साई बाबा के हैं. So we belong to him rather than whether he belongs to us or not. Again, Shirdi Sai Baba is also an incarnation of the divine itself. That divine principle exists everywhere in this universe. All right. He exists in all the deities and he exists in all of us. That divine principle is not other than us, not apart from us. This unity, this Advaita can be realized through Abhanga. Abhanga means what does not break. Abhanga is the ultimate reality. That reality is depicted by all of these saints, starting from Santa Dnyaneshwar. His whole family was, in fact, saints. The eldest brother Nivrutti, who was Dnyaneshwar Maharaj's guru. So Nivrutti, eldest brother, Jnanadeva or Dnyaneshwar, the second brother, Sopan, the third brother, and Muktabai, the youngest sister. These 4 children lived in a place called Alandi near Pune. All right, so these people also wrote several abhangas or composed several abhangas. All of these abhangas are a manifestation of their own inner experience of divinity. All right, in one of the abhangas, Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, Kshema Dev Gele Tava Michi Mi Ekali. He went to Pandharpur to Lord Vithala to pray to him and wanted to tell him that yes, I'm doing well in Alandi. But once he reached there, he realized that there was nobody. He was the only one there. Which means what? He had experienced Advaita. Advaita of the Lord not being apart from me. So the Lord and me are one. All right. Then he says, Paya pado gele tava paula china dise. Which means what? He wanted to go bow down before Lord Vithala, but he could not see Lord Vitthala's feet. Everything had become one in his experience. So this experience of Advaita can be achieved or it can be experienced by each one of us. We all think of ourselves as apart from each other and apart from the deity, apart from Vithala. Right? That is not the truth. Through the practice of upasana, through the practice of bhakti, through the practice of this chanting, through the practice of singing these abhangas, ultimately we take our journey from duality to non-duality, from Dvaita to Advaita. So the tradition that was started by Nivrutti, Jnandev, Sopan, Muktabai continued further and it came all the way to Eknath, Namdev, Tukaram. All these saints in Maharashtra, they were incidentally of various different jatis, Jnaneshwar Maharaj, Ramdas Swami, Eknath Maharaj, they were born as Brahmins. Tukaram was born in a family of Vaishyas. He was a trader. And Namdev was a tailor, supposedly a low caste. So all of these differences are merely appearances. Okay? The divine can manifest himself or itself in various different manifestations. It does not matter whether the person is born in a Brahmin family or a Vaishya family or some other family. In fact, the maid servant in Namadeva's house was a saint by the name Janabai. That Janabai composed so many abhangas. She said, Dalita, Kandita, Tuja Pahina, Ananta. So while she was grinding the wheat to make flour in Namadeva's house, she got the experience of Ananta. Ananta means the infinite, the Lord Himself. All right. So this very strong Santa Parampara, as we call it, the entire chain of saints from Nivrutti, Jnandev, Sopan, Muktabai, Eknath, Namdev, Tukaram, and many other saints, Ramdas Swami also. See, these saints enriched the soil of Maharashtra, enriched the soil of India, and left for us a phenomenal treasure of Abhangas, which we can all chant and reach ultimately our Advaita or non dual divine nature. It is my wish that all of us are able to achieve that state of non duality. A very happy Ashadi Ekadashi to all of you. Namaskaram.